Hello everyone, this is Ultra Simon, also known as Pimpio, and here is another DoWpro cast. Here we have a match between, once again, Indicator and Dudikoff, and this time it is an Orcs on Dudikoff versus Chaos on Indicator. So, without further ado, game starts. So, as far as builds go, it seems like the Chaos has gone for Chaos Temple and a interesting kind of mashup of a scout expansion. So two cultist squad, it's pretty normal. Any more than that, you might pop cap yourself and not enough for normal squads. However, the order, normally you go for the faster heretic into Chaos Lord or Tac Marine squad. However, he's opted not to, and to go for the fast, very fast strategic point capture. Now on the Orc side, they've gone for a pretty straightforward boys hut into War Banner, pretty normal, and two slugger boys. Now that can be seen as interesting or normal. These days a lot of Orcs like to go double shooter boys opening, or starting off with your slugger boy squad, of course, so double shooter boys from that, but often that gives more offensive damage for the opening patrols, sorry. However, on this map, this is an interesting map, and I'm not quite sure if it favors Orcs in this case, because, as you can see, we've got 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and the rest of it is simply space and critical locations. Now, Orcs are very good at pushing forward early on, being very aggressive, taking map, and then stopping the enemy from being able to forcefully take that back, and trying to get an economy advantage, just a slight economy advantage. Either that, or they can just force forward. Now we got a bit of a encounter here. The Orcs are not going to win this at all. No, the Chaos Marines will perhaps chase down and significantly reduce the numbers of this squad. Now there's a Slugger Boy squad here. It's been set to auto upgrade, and there's a big mech on the field now. So there's these Chaos Space Marines are going to be forced to retreat. They don't have too many choices. Meanwhile, the Orcs are going to cap the top point, whilst the Chaos starts capping their relic. Now, there's a bit of a... Both sides are capping their relic late. Now, on this map in particular, you can choose to either A, dedicate all your squads to capping points very early on, or B, you can go for a forward cap squad and then have one of your earliest offensive squad go straight to the enemy base to kind of procrastinate the enemy and distract them and delay them coming into your base. Now, very standard build. There's no berserkers, no raptor build. This is just a Chaos Lord, Chaos Space Marine squad. Now, the Orcs must have gone for they didn't go for a generator. Okay, let's put all their power into the big mech and teleport research. So the Orcs playing very offensive here, very high squad, reinforced squad, and they're going to fight these Chaos Space Marines down to 3 members, and the Chaos Lord is actually getting a fair few hits down on the big mech. Now this is bad for Orcs, because if they lose their big mech this early on, it's going to be very hard to stop the Chaos taking all the outer points of the Orcs and just finishing the game there. So, although the Orcs have taken the big mech being one of the lowest HP heroes, but having a huge amount of damage, they've taken out a lot of Chaos Space Marines. However, as long as that Chaos Lord is still there, the Chaos are still in the fight. Even if it's only cultists supporting it. The Chaos Lord being a tremendous supporter of both health, not as much as the Space Marine Force Commander, however, deals a lot more damage, the most damage out of all the heroes, I believe. So this squad's now broken, perhaps because of the cultists. The cultists don't so much do damage as they chase him, but more moral damage, which is interesting. However, they've got a shooter boy squad here ready to back them up. Not really sitting there. Mine's going down, so preemptively putting down. But this mech is going to drop, and it's going to be very hard for the Orcs now to retire to their base without their base being retired itself. Now, meanwhile, this listening post, I'm not quite sure if it was completed, hard to tell, but this sluggers are trying to harass, and the cultists are going to come in. Cultists will win in a straight out unless it's reinforced to about 6. I believe the 6 boy sluggers got in there, two more added to it to secure a victory there. So the Chaos might have to deal with that. However, sluggers not exactly supporting that much building damage. So the Chaos Lord is going directly for this, and they're just going to slowly try and cut off all these outer points. Outer point, outer point, outer point, and that's all of them on this huge map. So the Orcs are in a bit of a tiff here. They've got 2 squads out in the field. They're gonna really need... Big mech is being rebuilt, so they need to buy enough time for the big mech and the R boys to come out. The R boys, once R boys out in the field, this could quickly swing into Orcs' way. R boys being It's a bit of a slow. I mean, the Orc, it's really their T1 powerhouse. If Orcs really want to, once they've got a bit of a sizable mass going, like not a huge sizable mass, but a little bit of a size, a little bit of cannon fodder, glass cannons, whatever you want to call them, meat shields, then you've got those art boys, and they're the ones that really do all the damage, and they're the ones that do all the building damage too. So you can use them as a double harass. That they've taken out at this point, they might try and decap it. I wouldn't decap it at this moment because it seems this big mech, he's getting some animations off. The Chaos Lord is going straight for it, and that's a good choice. This big mech might need to jump onto a squad. Unfortunately, I don't know what squad he'll jump onto. Right now, actually, now that the R-Boys are out in the field, I would jump it either onto the Sluggers or the R-Boys, but he's losing too many members. He probably can't fight this. However, there's no way that the Chaos can now push into the base. It's impossible. Not with four turrets pointing down at them and art boys and a full shooter squad. It's not going to happen. And this big mech is still practically on full HP. Now, a little bit of the mana sap. The Chaos Lord mana can still be drained whilst in a kill animation, just not health. So almost broken from just the Chaos Lord. Chaos Lord deals a tremendous amount of moral damage. Now, the Chaos, if you look at them carefully, Orcs, they're going to push this top point. Now, Orcs, they've got 6510 as their eco income, and they've only got one banner up at the moment, I believe. Second one going up very shortly, and I'm not too sure about this positioning. I would position it closer to the settlement, just in case they want to run in here. Because they could just take this out without actually being focused out. These wild banners don't deal that much damage by themselves. It's the accumulation or the upgraded forms that deal all the damage. Now the Orcs have managed to secure their relic, and they're securing now their strategic points. So the economy is 65 to 95. So it's a severe advantage. I'm going to say that they got one. Oh no, the Orcs have got that crit point. Interesting. And they got one. They got this one down here. Here we go. We got a listening post 2 going up here. Well, that's already up there. Now, the Chaos taking a bit of a diverging trip all around this cliff. I'm not quite sure why. It's perhaps the slowest means of going through, pardon me. But the Orcs, they're now supporting 71 income. So they're slowly crawling back in, but they're still a fair distance back, equaling the Chaos. However, the Orcs now have 2 full shooter boys up. Now, that should be able to knock off any cultists that run up on the headlines. And that should reduce... The Chaos do have 1 cultist squad. And really, they only really have... What's this? The Orcs... the Chaos have gone for early Flamers. Now, Flamers are amazing versus Sluggers. Well, low infantry, so it deals a lot of damage against them. And, of course, it will break them. And... the best part about it is the chasing damage, the damage that you do whilst chasing. Now, the Orcs, I'm not quite sure about the strategical decision. Sure, they need to do something to get back into this game, but I would rather have this big mech squad run through the base, look for heretics to kill off, and just harass the base in general. Use a teleport to get away with taking any damage. So here, they've done it, and they're split off with a distraction, but this is an expensive distraction. The Chaos have already got from the armory the first level hero upgrades, plasma pistol and power sword equivalent. And the Chaos are trying to chase here. I'm not quite sure about the micro. They perhaps could be micro in the pathing better to at least keep up with these Slugger Boys. However, the Slugger Boys are inherently faster. So the big mech is now what they could do is they should kill this. That's it. It's a free... just 2 seconds. Just target the heretic for a split second. 1 volley of fire and it's dead. But I don't think the Orcs saw that. Too busy trying to keep all their army alive. So the Orcs up to 89 economy. Now, these units... of course, okay, the Orcs are getting back into this game. However, they're still losing units. So for every step they take, they're taking 1 step back. It's not 2 steps back, thank God. They're still in this. They've still got a chance. However, it's still 1 step back. And the problem is that every time they take 1 step back, Chaos are taking 1 step forward. And they're not taking any steps back either. So the Chaos, they're slowly going up. I'm not quite sure if they're T2 yet or not. I can't really tell. However, the Orcs are going to lose one of their outer points once again. And they're still trying to run around. As you can see, the big mech... Yeah, you can't let that happen. Yeah, look how quickly it died as soon as he ran away. As soon as the big mech is focused, unless you happen to split it off and a slugger gets in the way and blocks the whatever hero it is that's attacking it from attack, especially the Chaos Lord, then the Chaos Lord just get a couple more swings in for free for absolutely no reason, and that's just the mechanics of the game. not one of our implementations, and it will kill it. So it was a bad choice by the Orcs. As soon as they saw that, they should have just done as much damage as they could, and just, you know, accepted that they weren't going to come out on top of that. So the Orcs are still chasing around here. Unfortunately, Sluggers, they don't do the greatest chase damage. They really need... Here we go. Big shooters are coming up on them. That's really what they needed. However, the Chaos, they still have... Although they lost this point, I have no idea how. But they've got LP2s on the 3 points that they secure, and that means that the Orcs are going to struggle to harass that until later on in the game. So the Orcs, they've really gone for an early game kind of style. Unfortunately, they've been on the off foot this whole game, or they might be doing a lot better, faring a lot more against the Chaos. Look, they're broken before they even get in. The Chaos, they know this, and now they're not even worried about melee anymore. They know that the Chaos Lord is going to polish off anything. However, on this side, the cultists are getting shredded up, and the Chaos won't fare out of this. However, that squad, it's going to get out. And it gets out alive. It gets out alive. And I know you're saying, this is just a cultist. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because it's a capping squad. You don't want to dedicate one of your Chaos Space Marine squads to capping. It's a waste of... Well, it's not really efficiency at its best or finest. So... pile of guns going up, so T 1.5, let's see, 45 banner, T 1.5-ish, kind of verging on T2 for Orcs, but it's not going to make much of a difference. Orcs really need to get some more Ard Boys out, perhaps a Storm Boy squad, or they need to get some vehicles out. They should have it out already to really deal with this, because the Chaos... They kind of seem to be perhaps sidestepping. And look, their machine pit's going down. This could be over very quickly unless the Orcs play their buildings and their structure of their base very efficiently and severely outplay their opponent in that regard. An Orcs base can... they're one of the few... if not the only race that's got so many turrets. I mean, Imperial Guard can garrison, sure, but they don't have inherent turrets on everything. So the Orcs, with all these buildings and having to require to tier with war banners, and that being taken into consideration with their economy and cost of units, they can place all their buildings and that. And there we go. We've got a bigger added guns, and he might upgrade that later to a anti-vehicle, or he might just leave it. Really, this is a bad situation. There are heavy bolters in the Chaos squad, and they put on Furious, I think it's Furious, no, it's not, is that Furious Charge? I think it's Furious Charge on the cultists. Not much of a point in that case. They didn't really get any melee time, but enough to scare the shooter boys off. But really, the thing that was doing all the damage was, I think, let's see, Flamers, and 2 heavy bolters in that squad. 2 heavy bolters, light infantry, negative cover. Not a good sign for the Orcs there. It was a bad choice, and they should have retreated a lot faster. Now, the Orcs, as I was saying before, they can position their buildings in a way that, once reinforced with troops, happens to almost double the capacity of their team. Now, I'm not quite sure what's in this Rhino, but we will see in a second. I'm willing to bet the 2 Chaos Space Marine squads have disappeared from the map. And there you go. There they go. And... has any of them got the Chaos Lord? No. I wonder if his Chaos Lord is... There we go. He's just kind of hanging around, regenerating his health very, very, very slowly. I don't think the Chaos have opted for any war gear this game. And the big mech... very hard to tell without seeing his health by itself. So, Chaos taking back all their map. And you might see them go for a Defiler. If they could pump out a Defiler right now... it would be very hard for the Orcs to swing back, because that would mean that they would have to dedicate something into taking out. Now, the problem is, okay, you can upgrade the wide banners, but they can't be everywhere. The Chaos can just relocate their attack to another frontier. That doesn't involve a base building with anti-vehicle. So that means that the Orcs, to secure their defense and to really have a counter out that's appropriate to counter a vehicle, not the Rhino really, but I'm talking about a heavy duty vehicle like a Defiler or a Predator. They're going to need tank busters or vehicles that are good at taking out other vehicles. And the problem is that if they go down that route, okay, so I reckon that the Chaos will just outdo them just simply because they've got more economy. Because the Chaos have already gone down the route of vehicles, and if they've got vehicles, all their vehicles also counter other vehicles. So, and infantry at the same time. Just look at that. A couple of flame shots and melee damage. There isn't even a Chaos Lord here. I'm actually rather surprised that there's no Chaos Lord that's been popped on that unit. It's still sitting over here. So the Chaos are gonna... There's a rocket launcher upgrade there, so the rocket launcher can take out buildings faster. However, I don't completely agree with what the Chaos are doing here. They got one unit out, and I think the other unit's, yeah, trying to get in. However, the Chaos have realized that they're not going to kill anything so long as they're in melee. Really, what they need to do is take advantage of how much building damage they can deal right now, and Orcs' inability to cover all frontiers and take out their army at a very fast pace. So perhaps what they should have done is perhaps ducked over to this side and then maybe taken out a generator or something. Maybe just jump back in, run to another side. They don't know what tier the Orcs are at, unfortunately, unlike us. We know that they don't have any tank busters. They don't have any war trucks with missile launchers. And these Grots, they're going to just barely survive. And it really was, Grots being shot down by cultists, who would figure. But they barely get out, which is a great thing for the Orcs because they're expensive and you don't really want to replace it because that's valuable time. You could be building wire banners and whatnot and recapturing. And here we go, a war truck that's out. I'm not 100% sure about this. The thing is that the Rhino does have anti-tank. The war truck doesn't. The war truck is great against infantry, but war truck, but it's not going to deal with that Rhino. But that Rhino is going to deal with it. So the Orcs, if they get into a fight here, it could be interesting. And they jump out and they're going straight for the Rhino. The war truck focusing down the Chaos squads, and then they realize they're not going to kill the Rhino, but they can tie up this squad. So they tie up the first squad closest to it and then tie up the second squad next to it. The cultists are bashing down there. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but meanwhile, the Chaos Lord is trying just to take out as many warbans as it can and just delay the Orcs just in case they win this. And perhaps what they're aiming to do is get all their squads, but there's a lot of Chaos that are kind of just barely dropping, and the Chaos squad's down to 6 and 5, and the Orcs, they're winning. They're actually winning this fight. They're back in this game. This fight wasn't perhaps the best idea for Chaos, perhaps a little too gutsy. However, at the same time, where'd the Chaos Lord go? Hang on a moment. Chaos Lord is down. The Chaos Lord died taking out... Oh, the upgraded wire banner. Right, he upgraded that wire banner a lot earlier on. Perhaps the Chaos didn't expect that, and that's what's really cut down the Chaos Lord. Well, unlucky Chaos, unlucky, but perhaps you should have been paying more attention than I was. So the Orcs have actually swung back into this game. Looking at economy, they're not quite on par. In fact, Chaos are doubling them, and there's now a pred around the field, and the Orcs have gone for knobs. I'm sure that perhaps they started building those knobs before that fight even started. But as I said, they went for a war truck, which is a dedicated anti-infantry. Perhaps they should have considered that, hey, there's a Rhino in the field. Probably Chaos is going to be going for, rather than the demonic kind of sector of their tech, they're going to be going for vehicles. And I mean, it's a logical thing to do. Pop out a Defiler, a Predator. I'll personally go for a Defiler, but the Predator's got a lot more sustainability and deals a more average of damages, especially against infantry. Much more versatile. But this means he's tier 3. Chaos is tier 3. I believe Predators are tier... they're either tier 2.75 or tier 3. I'm not quite sure. But they've gone for las cannons. I'm not entirely sure why. And they haven't just gone for one las cannon, they've gone for all las cannons. So this truck will one more... Oh, he doesn't target the truck. I think he targeted infantry there. He's still targeting infantry. What is he doing? Target the truck. Just take out the truck. Take out the truck and start running through. If this pred, all the pred has to do is target this truck and then take out, just run through their base. Whilst the Orcs have no anti-vehicle. The Orcs still have no anti-vehicle except for their big mechs abilities. There aren't any tank busters out in the field. There aren't, and there we go, tank buster squad. This could be bad for Orcs, for Chaos. The Chaos really, they're not playing their cards too well now. They have a severe advantage still with their economy lead, and still 93, it's gone down. The Orcs are now using, so use one squad, 4-man squad. Don't use a whole squad to roam around the map capping. Just take one, a very small squad, and just use that. Preferably sluggers though, just in case you're under cultists, because you can, take them out in a 1v1 duel. But here we go. So, interestingly enough, these tank busters, they've gone for rockets. Now, one interesting fact about tank busters, they do more damage to almost every class of vehicle in melee as opposed to shooting. So, per second, they deal more damage. So, really, these tank busters should be reinforcing and just meleeing these predators. meleeing them because nothing else is going to melee them back that can kill them. The Orcs have still got a severe infantry advantage, but this big mech might fall. Nope, just barely getting away. Now, this Chaos Predator, this is good. They got the Chaos Predator here. What they really need is perhaps either a cultist or a hero. So the hero's back out so they can detect these tank busters and they're infiltrated. But and they're finally targeting down that truck with the Chaos Predator. But this Chaos Predator should be running through here, taking out buildings. I mean, you've paid that much money. You can obliterate a generator in almost 2 volleys of las cannon at this level with this kind of level Chaos Predator. Rather, he's shooting infantry. I'm not quite sure about, just to see how much damage it does. Completely missed there. Very little. Very little. I'm not quite sure if it missed there or if it just does very little. But look, compared to that, these Chaos Predators are doing a lot of damage. And the thing is, you can move it around. You can move it backwards, forwards, sideways, upways, backflip. And it'll do just as much damage as if it was standing stationary. It might miss a couple of shots, yes, so its rate of fire, I guess, damage per second, slightly modified, but the difference is, you know, compared to a Defiler who can't run away, it has to be facing forward, and it can't kite units. Unfortunately, the Orcs do have the ability to paralyze and immobilize squads, but there's an all-out brawl going out here. Really, I think the Chaos are trying to head on with the Orcs, butt heads at what the Orcs do best, too much, too far a degree. They're losing. However, a swing of the Chaos Lord back into the fray, that's really what they needed. If they'd just kept that Chaos Lord with, as I said, the Chaos Space Marine squads and just roamed around, tried to take out, you know, just roamed around with that in, any melee would have been won by the Chaos. Rather, they left the Chaos Lord here, and then they decided to butt heads against the with the Chaos Lord against the buildings. Anyway, that's our game for today, and it seems like Chaos have won this. So good game to both players, and I hope you enjoyed that. Please tune in next time. Thank you.